my name is Jess. I'm alive. We're okay. I think the last video that I posted was probably in October. It's February now, so I'm sorry about that. I have been trying to film a video for a while. A lot has happened, as you might be able to tell, or maybe not, because I didn't really show you anything at the last videos. I'm in a new place. Yay! So I actually moved apartments, finished up my semester at college, and moved. And moving takes way longer than I always think it will. I always think this is fine. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna be done in like a month. And it's, we've been here almost 2 months and are still not unpacked. So, you know, things just take longer than you think, but it's okay. It's all good. Got a new space. Super happy with it. It's beautiful. I'm currently filming from a desk. I have my own desk, which is fun. It was Jason's old desk, if any of you used to watch his streams and stuff. So it's mine now. So anyway, I'm alive. We're good. Things are good. I'd like to get started on videos again. But I think I'm going to add a little something to it. I think I'm going to be trying to put out a video once a week, and I'm gonna do alternating videos. So one video is gonna be about the creative process and kind of, I don't know if anybody cares about where my books are coming along, but you know, I'll share that and any other lessons I'm learning. And then the other 2 videos a month I would like to do are on reading. And the reason I would like to do this is because it goes into my creative process, I promise. But I feel like to be a really good writer, you have to read a lot. Or, you know, just a creative in general. I think you need to be consuming media that makes you feel good and that, you know, inspires you. I just watched Avatar: The Last Airbender again, and wowza. Gave me so many ideas, so many inspirations, and just made me excited to write again and be part of, you know, a creative community, I guess. Am I in a community? I don't know. I'm just talking to a camera by myself. But, you know, to be in the creative headspace. I don't know if any of that made sense. Anyway, so all that being said, this video might be a little bit longer, so if you don't make it to the end, I understand. That is totally okay. I won't be offended at all. I'm kind of rambly and I'm not really making a lot of sense, and it's been several months since I've done a video, so I don't know how to do this video thing. It's fine. It's gonna be great. So, today, I actually wanted to talk about what kind of inspired me wanting to talk about books. I actually wanted to start a book podcast. That was my plan last year, going into this year. Then we moved, and I've started school again for the semester. Yay. So I don't have a lot of time to be creating something new. Since I already have this YouTube channel, I thought I might as well just add some of the, I don't know, other stuff that I'm interested in. Books and writing kind of go along together. It's not like I'm, I don't know, adding like cooking stuff, although I have done that before, just not on this channel, but not important. So I thought I would kind of give you some of the books that I read and give you some of the ideas of maybe things that may be kind of in my books that I'm writing. I don't know. This is fine. This is all fine. It's gonna be great. So what kind of inspired this whole thing was the Modern Mrs Darcy reading challenge. So every year, a lot of readers will do a reading challenge where, you know, they get this list and they pick books off of there that they want to read for the year. But the thing I really liked about the Modern Mrs Darcy one is that it was like a 6-page worksheet, and you got to decide what you needed more in your reading life. So I don't do reading challenges usually, because I don't like people telling me what to read. I'm also a really sensitive reader / entertainment consumer. So if somebody suggests something to me, I can't always get through it because it's traumatizing. Yes, I've had lots of people suggest books to me and I have not been able to finish them because I can't. It's too much. So all that being said, I got to kind of plan out what I want more of in my reading life. And so I thought I'd go through the list with you because I have it right here. And I look at it every day and it makes me really excited to think about. So let's get into it, I guess. For those of you that don't know who the Modern Mrs Darcy is, she started as a blogger. She has several podcasts all about books, and basically she just interviews the average Joe person about their reading life and what, you know, they like reading, and she suggests 3 books for them based on 3 books they love, or a book they love, a book they hated, 3 books they loved, 1 book they hated, and they kind of talk about what they should read next. So it's really sweet. It's kind of like literary matchmaking, which is just so good. Because if there are any other readers out there watching this, you know, maybe you don't know, I know how hard it is once you found a book that you really, really love, being able to like get back into reading because that book was so good, and it's so hard finding books that you're gonna enjoy. At least it is for me. Maybe it's not that way with other readers. Maybe they're perfectly fine. Anyway, moving on. So there were several categories, and I'm gonna go through a few of them, but I'm not gonna get down to the actual books that I want to read, because they're already changing a bit. And that's the thing. I'm keeping this really fluid. I'm keeping it like, I don't know, I'm the kind of person that reads based on mood. So if I'm not in the mood for something, you know, I'm not gonna go and order. Some of the books that are on my list too aren't out yet, so I can't read them until they come out. But anyway, we're just gonna go through it. I don't know if this is interesting to anybody else, but my older sister came over a few weeks ago, and this is all we talked about for like 5 hours, was what we were doing for the reading challenge. Anyway, not important. So there are 3 categories I'm going through. The first one is what I want from my reading life. I want replenishment, enjoyment, and connection. Part of the reason also why I'm kind of putting this out there is because I want to know if you guys read, or if anybody out there, you know, like enjoys reading or writing, or I don't know, something. So I really want to connect with people, especially in this weird time where everything, you know, it's weird. I'm not going to get into it, but it's been a weird time, to say the least. And so I'd like to form some connections. I think that would be really fun. Enjoyment, because again, if a book is traumatizing me, I'm not going to finish it. So I would prefer to find a book that is not traumatizing to begin with. So enjoyment and replenishment. I wasn't really able to read very much last year. I usually read about 50 books a year, which isn't too bad. But I think this year I read like 30, which, considering I was locked at home for most of that, and I should have had time to read, kind of tells you where my mental state was this year. And so I really want to find, you know, enjoyment from reading again, and being able to, you know, because I love reading. I've been reading for a super long time, and I don't know, maybe things are just changing in my reading life, and so I'd kind of like to explore that. The next one is my reading life needs. The first one is really important to me. I want to support authors of color. I went through a lot of the books that I read and realized that I read primarily white women. I am a white woman, so I guess it would make sense that those are kind of the books that I'm attracted to, or that I usually gravitate towards. But it's really important to me to support other authors out there, just because I know snippets of how the publishing industry is, and it is almost impossible for people to get in that aren't white. So I'm gonna start supporting authors of all races and all, you know, different walks of life. And yeah, I'm excited to get started on that. I've already started a little bit. So anyway, we'll get into that, I'm sure, as soon as I finish that book. The next one is I want to cultivate consistency in my reading time. Again, I just haven't been reading very much. I think it's just been a weird year. I don't think I was really able to focus. I think there was a lot going on for me, as I'm sure there were for lots of people. So I would just want to start reading a little bit every day. And I want to find my reading people for bookish conversation, because if there is one thing I can talk about for hours, it's books. And you really learn a lot about people and kind of who they are when you ask them what they're reading. Because the people that read tend to gravitate towards certain things, and there's a reason why they like those certain things. So usually they're pretty, you know, introspective, or you can learn a lot about somebody from what they like to read. And so I'd like to kind of, you know, talk about that and see what others are reading and what we can learn from each other. So the next one, which I'm super excited for, is mini projects. Tackling these mini projects will give my reading life a boost. The first one is to create a comfy reading nook. Oh my gosh. I've always wanted a space I could read when I was younger. My mom had this wingback chair, and I would sit in it for hours. And it was perfect because it could rest up against the like edge of the seat, and I could just curl up in it, and it was great. So I've always wanted a chair like that for myself, but I think instead this apartment has more space, and so I think I'm actually going to create a little corner for myself. We have space where I can make a reading nook. Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to be doing that. If I do end up doing it in one day, I'll probably vlog it or at least show it off because I'll probably be pretty proud of it. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. So reading nook is on the list for this year. The next one is read a book with a book club / participate in a reading retreat or scheduling my own private retreat. And this one I've already kind of started working on a little bit. My mom and my sister and I are in a book club together, which is pretty sweet. We haven't read any books in a long time, but we could start doing that again this year. And then also creating a reading retreat just sounded so good, so perfect. Like the idea of like getting myself a hotel room and just staying there and reading all day, gosh, that sounds great. So I'd like to do something like that. That would be fun. Next, the last thing is to style a bookshelf that brings me joy. I sold a lot of my books whenever me and Jason got married, and the reason is because I didn't want to move them, because if anybody loves books and has had to move them before, you know why. You know why I didn't want to move them. So anyway, kind of sad when I think about it, but I'm starting to rebuild up my bookshelf again, and so I've started buying books. I've got quite a few now, and I got a new bookshelf, so I would really like to organize it in a way that makes me happy and makes me feel, excited to pick out my next book when I go up to it. So yeah, there's that. And so that's it for the Reading Life Challenge. The rest of the paper is all the books that I have on my list, but I'm not going to go through them because this video then would be like 20 minutes long. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is talk about the first book that I finished on my book challenge, and that is The Vanderbeekers, Lost and Found. I don't know if it's backwards for you or if it's just for me. Well, that might be a problem. Anyway, this book is by Karina Glaser, I think is how you say her name. And it's a children's book. It's from like, I don't know what the age range is exactly. But this author's really good. This book actually made me tear up several times while reading it, which is saying something for a kid's book, because I think sometimes it's easy to think that kids' books are, like not great or, not well written or, just, kids read it, so why would adults need to? But this book talked about some really like tough issues. There's a death in this book, so the kids had to deal with, what does that mean as a kid dealing with the loss of life? Then they also dealt with homelessness, which again is a lot for kids to have to think about and have to deal with. And so, and friendship problems and what it means to make friends, and what if you have a miscommunication with a friend? And so, I don't know, I just thought the whole thing was beautifully written. And while it seems kind of like a downer, let me tell you, I think there are 5 siblings in this book, and one's a violinist, one's a knitter, one has a pet bunny, the other one has a treehouse that he stashes candy in, so their mom doesn't take it away. I don't know, it's just so wonderful, and the kids are they come from a mixed race family as well, so there's that having to deal with, I don't know, just like what it's like to grow up in this day and age. And I don't know, I just like this author a lot. I think this is the 4th. This is the 4th book in the series. I've read them all because they're all wonderful. And they're pretty short too. I think this one's about 350. Yeah, about 350. The first one is called The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street. And that one is great as well. So this book came out, I think this year. Yeah, it came out in 2020, so not too long ago. But the next, I think it might be the last Vanderbeeker novel. I'm not sure. It's coming out in the fall of this year, so something to look forward to. I don't know if that one will make it on my reading list, just because I've got so many books on here. But this one was absolutely wonderful and a joy to read. And I recommend it for anybody who, you know, wants to go outside, maybe their normal reading thing. I don't know if anybody else is interested in kids' books. I'm trying to write a kid's book, so I feel like it's important to read kids' books for me. Plus, I just like them. I would read them anyway. So, Vanderbeekers Lost and Found was a wonderful book. So, I've already checked off that one. And then I read another book, but I let my sister borrow it, so I may have to do a review on that one later. We'll get into it. But this one does fall in the category of authors of color as well, I think, because she is, I believe, I don't know. I don't like talking about like race and stuff, but she is not white. So feel good about that one too. And it's just a good story. It's just a good story. So anyway, hopefully I've not said anything offensive or anything on here. Thank you for watching. If you made it to the end, we're at like 16 minutes. So that was my book video starting out the new year and the month. And I'll be back next week, hopefully, with something more creative. Maybe talking about my writing process, kind of my, I don't know, I could tell you my new, like, writing routine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's interested in that, but that's bookish stuff for you. And I guess I'll be back next week. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.